we're going to also receive from you. So please relax. Don't be in a hurry. We've got vendors out there. We've got our vendor table as well. We've got photo booths. We've got breakout room sessions. We've got panel conversations. We've got fireside. We've got so many things. So please don't be in a hurry to leave. We put this together for you, and we're super excited that you're here. So thank you all so much again, and welcome to the African Immigrant Professional and Entrepreneurship Summit 2025. Thank you all so much.
Once again, a round of applause for Stella.
Yes.
I mean, it's so great to see a couple of people coming together to say, you know what, we're going to put this together. We're going to sacrifice and make this happen for immigrants. Like she said, we don't want anybody just starting from the scratch, right? You can start from the scratch, but in an informed way, right? Not just in an uninformed way. That's what we are, pushing for.
All right, so we are going to get started. We're going to jump right into the program. Thank you all for that are here. And then Shaywa's going to kick us off with kind of the intro until our first panel.
Yes, our first panel will be the advocacy panel, and it's a panel that is going to be looking or talking about taking us from just passive observers to policy shapers, right? We want to also be part of the policies, not just passive observers. So Chiamaka is going to tell us more about the people who are going to be on the panel, and she's going to announce the speakers just in a second.
Awesome. So we're also going to be including how is AIM part of shaping that policy? Yes, we have the blessing and the opportunity to be immigrants in this country, but how can we have our hand in the policy changes, implementations, and things of that sort? So I am going to start listing out our speakers for this panel. As you hear your name, please make your way to the stage. We'll be excited to have you. You can either use these stairs right here or there's stairs right around the corner, whichever you're comfortable with. So our moderator for this panel, which is the advocacy panel for voice, power, and policy, we have Cassandra Charles. Cassandra will be modifying this
round of applause.
This panel, so please give her a round of applause. All right. And our panelists would be Adebukola Buki Faforiji. Please welcome her to the
Faforiji, yes. Adebukola, yes.
I'm Igbo, please forgive me.
It's okay, it's okay.
Faforiji. I got it. All right. And we have the absolute pleasure, because we have the opportunity to actually talk and be in the presence of a policymaker and somebody that's part of policy implementation. So please give a sounding round of applause to Representative Segun Adeyino.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so as they make their way up, I will hand this over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? Perfect. Good morning, everyone. I am Cassandra Charles. Professionally, I am a civil rights litigator who focuses on challenging anti-immigrant laws across the country. But more affectionately, I am the Director of Public Policy and Advocacy here within AIM. I'm not African, I am Haitian, and Stella and Dr. Namdi have adopted me into this organization, and they have made it feel like home. This panel, our advocacy panel, is here to, one, educate you all on how to get involved and how your involvement can help shape different policies that affect all of our communities within the diaspora and abroad. And this is also a precursor for our advocacy summit, which will take place in October. So we hope you find it enriching. I will give the panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit more about what they do before we dive into the questions.
Thank you, Cassandra. Good morning, everyone. I'm Buki Faforiji. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be on this panel. For work, I'm an FP&A manager. I work in go-to-market strategy, sales and marketing analytics. I'm married. I have 3 beautiful children. And outside of work, I'm involved in policy advocacy. Most recently with the YWCA in Atlanta, we successfully advocated for the passage of the Survivor Justice Act that passed into law last month. And outside of that, I'm also a resident of Gwinnett County. And in 2024, I ran for city council in the newest city in Gwinnett County, Mulberry. And out of 5 candidates in my district, I was the only black candidate out of 5. And across all 5 districts, I think we had about 18 candidates. I was the only African immigrant, so that was a great experience for me. And outside of that, now I'm serving on a local school council as a parent representative. So I'm happy to be here to share my experiences with everyone and, just plant a seed, even if it's just one person to get involved. I just wanted to share my experiences today. So thank you for having me.
Good morning. Before I introduce myself, please indulge me. I have a request for all of you. So all of you in the back, and this is just for me, please. If you can move forward and fill these seats in front, because I feel like if we're going to have this conversation, it's personal. So please, if you don't mind, just move forward small. I'd appreciate if everybody just get up, those in the back, and move forward. And I won't call any names, I promise. Thank you. It's going to make the conversation more exciting. I am Georgia State Representative Shegun Adena for House District 110, and that covers the cities of Loganville in Gwinnett, Lawrenceville, Snellville, and Grayson. I am a second-term elected official. And I'm one of 5 Nigerian Americans that were elected in 2022. We made history in Georgia to the State House. It's really exciting because just like many of you, I immigrated here. And I really focused on, and I know maybe there's some questions, so I just, part of my introduction, on being connected to the community. By profession, I'm an IT professional. My background is engineering. I've been married 23 years. My darling wife of 23, going on 23 years, is somewhere up there. I won't point her out because she always gets me for this. We have 3 wonderful adult kids. I know I don't look that way, but yep, all my kids are in college and one just graduated. I'm a strong advocate for African, Caribbean, Nigerian immigrants because I believe that that's the change that we can make by participating, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Representative. So as you all can see, we have a wealth of knowledge up on the stage, and we are going to take advantage of their knowledge and resources this morning. So the first question is for Buki. How can African immigrants move from navigating systems to shaping them, especially when survival is still the dominant focus for many?
Thank you, Cassandra. First and foremost, I want us to, accept that survival is a valid stage. It's nothing to be ashamed of, right? A lot of us made really tough decisions when we left our home countries. For one reason or the other, we said, let's leave family, let's leave successful careers, let's leave investment, property. We left a lot of things to come to the United States in pursuit of our quote-unquote happiness, right? Let's establish legacy for our families and all of that. So making that tough decision and getting here, everything is brand new. New system, things are foreign, you're still trying to figure things out. It's hard. And I know we've heard us say it on this stage that start from scratch. It sounds really unsexy. There's nothing sexy about starting from scratch. Being that accomplished and then coming here and starting from ground zero is not cool, right? But that's what we have to do to get ahead. And then as you're thinking about that, you are also juggling several responsibilities. You're thinking about bills. Your bills don't respect that you're a new immigrant. You gotta pay bills. Your bills show up on time, all day, every day. You're thinking about bills. You're thinking about kids. If you have your kids, you're thinking about child care. What school do they go to? And then that affects where you live because you're thinking about school districts. right? So many multi-pronged approach to just how you settled in the United States. What about your immigration status? You're thinking about your papers. You're thinking, okay, God, when is this going to happen? You're thinking about work. Like I said, some of us had successful careers, and you get here. Now you have to find something to bridge the gap so that you can pay the bills. And then you want to think, am I going back to school? Am I doing what I was doing back in my home country? Am I doing a separate career? So it's a lot of juggling. And that's that survival mode. Nobody should make you ashamed of it, right? It takes time to get your ducks in row. But I just want to implore us and plant a seed in us today. There will come a time, things will kind of calm down. You will settle down. Things will begin to shape up. And when they do, I want us to begin to think more strategically. So remember how we are trying to survive and we are in the how do I fit in type of mindset? When we feel like, okay, now things are starting to make sense, we are trying to like navigate ourselves in the system, let's move to how can I start influencing? Because you can't shape something you are not a part of. If you are not in the system, how can you shape it? Right? So you need to start thinking the two sides of the coin. You are either shaping and making decisions, or you are accepting those decisions and you are following the rules. So let's not be stuck on we're just following rules. Let's flip the script. How do we start getting involved in, let's also start even making decisions. How does that look like? And then we start to learn and train ourselves on, okay, this is where it starts, this is where it starts. And hopefully at some point we can get to be like someone like Rep. Ade, who's now serving, right, as a House Rep in the state of Georgia. But it starts from somewhere, that mindset shift. Don't just think, I'm going to survive. I'm just here to survive. It's not the final destination. So don't get stuck on, let me just survive and pay my bills and that is it. Let's hope for more to elevate, right? And then hopefully we can begin to shape the system in that way.
Thank you, Buki. So earlier today, Rep. Shagun and I were talking about inclusion and how typically when you hear about immigration and immigration policies, we don't necessarily think of Black immigrants, whether it be from Africa or the Caribbean. We're not the face of those conversations, and we're typically excluded from the messaging. So this next question, not only regarding messaging inclusion, but how do we push for policy inclusion when many immigrants, especially recent arrivals, are excluded from voting and civic representation?
So, good question. And I don't have all the answers. But I will tell you this. Representation matters in everything that we do. If you're not in the room making those decisions, participating, giving a different perspective, we have to look at the history of America, right? We have our own people that came here via slavery and what they went through over the years and how they advocated, how they participated, how they were represented, that changed the trajectory of where they were then through the civil rights movement till today. And we know that Atlanta is a center of a lot of change for the Black community. And the only way change happens is us advocating for ourselves. I know a number of immigrants, when we get here, we automatically think, yeah, whether you come here as a refugee, I've escaped that environment, I'm going to start my life. And they're not actually always involved in the process. So even though they start their life, they're still challenged with some of the issues that we have in this society. We have to understand that America, one of the biggest challenges we have is our racial culture. And we're seeing that today with the current administration. I'm just being very plain. We're seeing that in the policies that they're implementing in the immigrant communities. I have a constituent that was picked up 3 days by um, Ice. He's a double amputee, Liberian American, and he had a situation when he was young. Moved over here. He was probably 2. They amputated both his legs. He was on prosthetics. Unfortunately, some years later, when he was 16, he was involved in the burglary, pleaded guilty, served 9 months. He was pardoned. He went through the process. But a lot of us don't know that part of that process as an immigrant in this country, they don't expunge your records. So, of course, fast forward, it was on his record, and ICE picked him up. One morning, they picked him up right in front of his family, drew their guns. He was taking his kids to school with his wife. They drew their guns, surrounded him, and picked him up. He's been in custody since January 17th till to date. He might be deported. He came here when he was 2. And if he goes to Liberia, what is he going to do? So the first thing we have to do is participate. One of the platforms I've been involved in is called the NAPAC USA, the Nigerian American Public Affairs Committee. I chaired it for Georgia. I became the national president. I advocated, and we advocated in Georgia in the 2021 election for Ossoff and Warnock and the governorship election. And we were able to mobilize, even though some of us weren't, some of the folks in the group are not citizens, but they're residents, but they participated. We mobilized 88,000 people coming out to vote. And we spoke our languages when we got on the phone, when we phone banked, we knocked on doors. That is how we all get involved, and that's how we move the needle.
Thank you for that, Representative. So representation matters. We need more people that look like us in positions of influence. We need more people that look like us to just dominate the conversation. And it's okay to take up space, as the representative just expressed. Because when we don't take up space, we're giving up our autonomy, and we're giving up our right and our, dominion to other people to make decisions on our behalf who are not equipped or educated enough to make decisions for us. So thank you for that. Buki, the next question is for you. And you were very modest in your introduction, so I'm gonna let you slide there. I'll let you fill in the blanks with this question. How can new arrivals start engaging in advocacy before they feel settled? And how can community-led spaces make it feel less intimidating?
Thanks, Cassandra. So it doesn't matter how long you've been here. I would say it's like the quality of what have you done with the time, right? Because you can be here for 20 years and be like, it's none of my business. I'm not involved. And you could be here like 6 months and you're like, well, what can I do? And you're reaching out people and you're looking for resources and all of that. So first of all, I just want to encourage us, no matter how long you've been here, if you haven't gotten involved at all, the next best time is now. It's not too late, right? But where do you start from? Like you have no idea what is the first step to do. First, let's educate ourselves. First of all, let's debunk the myth, like, power is this kind of mysterious, it's not attainable for someone like me or yourself or whatever. That is absolutely wrong, right? I think first of all, let's debunk that myth, because we can access it, but we need to go and take it. Nobody's going to give it or hand it over to us, right? So it starts by educating yourself, but you have to do the work on yourself as well, because for some people, for instance, and I touched on this earlier, say you were like really successful back in your home country, like you were like the boss or madam or whatever the case is, right? You had red carpet treatment in your home country, and you get here and America will humble you. It will humble you like you are a nobody. You are somebody in Jesus' name, but you're a nobody when you get here, right? So sometimes that messes up with our ego. Like, are you for real? Like, do you know who I was, where I'm coming from? So you feel you know everything. You don't want to ask questions. You don't want to, So first of all, when you get here, just be humble. you don't know anything. You don't know anything and accept you don't know anything. If you start as a blank slate, then you are much more, you are able to receive information better. You're able to learn faster. Have that teachable spirit. Be humble to learn. And then I want to put this back on more experienced immigrants who've been here longer as well. Please don't gatekeep. Please don't hoard information, especially if you know it's going to be relevant to like new immigrants in your community or your circle, right? Feel free to share knowledge. I know AIM Collective hosts expert series, weekly expert series, for instance. They bring in subject matter experts on different topics, and then you can join, ask questions. It's free. How would you have this kind of resource and not leverage it? Plug in, right? Like Rep. Adeyino said, learn the policy-making process as well. Get educated. If you have questions, reach out to people you feel, okay, these people have a good grasp of what this topic is, and just learn. Get yourself more aware. Even if it's just, for me, for instance, I get digital newsletters sent to me in my inbox. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I just scan it. Okay, what's happening in Georgia? I just read the highlights. Okay, I'm done for the day, right? We might spend all time on social media, but there's a temptation you're doom scrolling and you're not really getting anything out of it. So just, keep yourself informed. It starts with information. When you're informed, then you're in a better position to say, okay, what do I do with all of this? What do I want to do? Sometimes you're like, really like, you have that passion of, oh my God, I don't like what is happening. What can I do next? That's the spark. Once you're informed and, you are willing to make the next move, it makes it easier for you to determine what your next steps are in that regard. But absolutely keep yourself informed. Absolutely be open to being taught and learning, especially if you're in a new environment like as a new immigrant.
Thank you, Buki. Rep. Shagun, how do we transform cultural norms like deference to authority into civic courage and public leadership in the diaspora?
So, thanks, Cassandra. So, as residents and constituents in a community, you really have to participate. And I say that by you have to know who your representatives are, your as a constituent. If you live in a city, in Gwinnett, any of the cities, if you live in city limits, you should know your municipal elected officials. If you're not in that city, unincorporated area, but you're in the county, you should know your county officials. And not just when it's time to vote, but attending, whether it's town hall meetings, having conversations, understanding some of the way things work. Those are all important. I know we have, and even school board. School board, I ran, my first election, I ran for Gwinnett County School Board because I was concerned about the quality of education my kids were getting, what services were there, how do we address some of the challenges we're having in our schools. And having the background I did, for those who are Nigerian, what some of our history was when it came to school. And when our parents had us go to school, especially coming to this country, as a Nigerian, you only had five professions you could do. Doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer, or politician, right? You know that one. But they sent us here, and we were very focused in that direction. And I'm sure that's a lot of immigrant communities as we see our counterparts. But a big important part is how do you advocate for yourself is by understanding the environment you're in and connecting with those who are in authority and having those conversations. One of the things I try to do is have continuous engagement in the community. Like today, I have 5 events already. I'm going to be at every event because it's important, because people need to know what's going on. Yesterday, I had a round table in a community, and there were 3 young men. And we really focused on telling young men, tell us why, out of 3 of you, how many of you voted? Only 1. what are your issues? And to my surprise, the number one issue that one of the young men brought up was gun control. Georgia has no gun laws. We're one of the worst states in the country. I think we're number 42, if not number 48, when it comes to gun control. And who do you talk to about that? You talk to the state lawmakers, because we put in the laws for gun control. But let me just stop there for a quick minute and put something, because there's a process to everything. And let me just explain the process on getting a law in Georgia, because I think that's very important we understand what happens. So it first starts with you. If there's an issue that a burning heart issue that you're concerned about in your community, and it could be anything, right? One example is traffic cameras, right? So you as a constituent can come to me as a lawmaker and say, hey, I'm tired of driving by school zones and getting tickets. Can we remove the traffic cameras? So my first response would be, okay, I'll do some research. If I do support and have an interest and I do the research, I'll support it. I'll reach out to Legislative Council. They create the bill. And then that bill goes to, on the House side, because we have two chambers, we have the House and the Senate in Georgia. The House side, we have 180 legislators. On the Senate side, we have 56. And you can take it to either one, right? We write the bill. The bill now goes to the Speaker. You, as the legislator that sponsors the bill, you already have an idea of what committee you want it to go to. Let's say education. And then you advocate by going to the chair of that committee and say, hey, can you speak to the Speaker on the House side to get that bill to the committee? If he agrees, it goes to committee. The committee have you as the author of the bill come. And then there are other organizations that might reach out to you. They have an idea. They have an interest in the bill, for or against. And during the committee, you have a hearing. You present it, and you have other organizations, whether it's lobbyists or interest groups, that participate. And the committee votes. If it passes the committee, then it goes to rules. Rules is another committee that will look at it. You present it to rules as the author of the bill. And if they agree with it, it now comes to the floor of the House. In the House, 180 state legislators that you elected vote on the bill. If the bill passes, we have something called crossover day. All the bills on the House side go to the Senate. All the bills on the Senate side go to the House. They go through the process again, committee, blah, 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 and they're voted on. Now, here's the tricky part. Now, if it's a good bill, and some other bill, bad bill, did not pass, someone in the Senate who authored that bill can now take the language in that bill and put it in your good bill. It's not illegal. We're lawmakers. We can do anything we want. So it changes the bill. The bill now comes back to the House, and maybe it was a good bill, but now it's a bad bill, because in there they might put something against oppressing transgender, something against abortion, something against gun control. It could be in that bill, and you as the author of the bill don't like it. So we do something called a disagree-agree. So the bill can come back, and even though I supported it going, but it comes back, then I'll say no. So all the bills that now pass after crossover, we go to the final day of what they call sign and die. And the bills that we like, we vote on, they pass, they go to the governor's desk. The governor has three options. The governor either signs a bill, vetoes, or he waits till end of June. All the bills that are on his table, if they haven't been signed or vetoed, they pass automatically. So that's the process. I think, I know I took some time, but I wanted to explain that process so you understand when you go to a legislator or a municipal or a county government, there is a process. And by understanding the process, you can influence it by participating.
Thank you, Representative. And please take all the time, because that information is worth its weight in gold, and not many people understand how laws are passed, and they also don't understand that they can influence that legislation, as well.
Let me just add one quick thing, because to let you know the impact, and also how it impacts from a party perspective. So we had, this last session, we had 373 bills passed. The majority of government in Georgia is Republican. Out of those 373 bills authored, only 16 of those bills were authored by Democrats. And I pause because it tells you, and in the House, on the House side, we have 100 Republicans and 80 Democrats representing across the state. So I tell you, because being in a minority party, it's very concerning, because it says that your government is not allowing a big part of Georgia residents to participate. So think about that, you know. So when you go to and I'm sure I'll talk about it, when you go to the polls to vote, to me, I think what's really important is making sure you elect someone that's going to allow more people to participate.
Yes, thank you. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a civil rights litigator, so legislative session in Georgia is the bane of my existence, and I drink a lot of coffee during the session because, yeah, you know, we're monitoring any anti-immigrant legislation that's coming in, and constantly reading over, like you said, when a bill crosses over, that bad language can be added to a good bill. And so we constantly have to be on alert, just reviewing and seeing if the bill does pass, like what challenges we can bring to oppose that bill. So thank you for all the work that you do, much appreciated. Buki, our next question is for you. What does real power building look like in our communities beyond symbolic participation? How do we ensure our presence translates to impact?
Thanks, Cassandra. It's funny, at dinner last night, Dr. Namdi mentioned it. He was like, have you ever thought about it that, especially for politicians, when they're like rallying for votes during campaigns, have you ever seen them call African immigrants by ourselves as a group to come talk to us like, hey guys, what are your pain points? What do you need? We need your votes. It's like we don't matter. Like, we are not a factor for now, but that should change, right? Real power will only be real power when these elected or these politicians start to cater to us, you know, have rallies just for us, come talk to us. What are your stories? What are your narratives? What policies do you want to see passed? What decisions should we be making that will favor you, right? Until we start having those conversations, we're not even there yet, right? And it starts from not just having that kind of power, but how do we even begin to set ourselves up from an entry point? So you can decide to run for office, and you can decide, I'm more low-key, I don't want to, you know, run for office, but I still want to do something, right? So if you want to explore both, so say you want to run for an office, for instance, you can start small. HOA is an office in your neighborhood. I'm sure most of us have HOA here in some shape or form. At your children's school, they have local school councils. You can run for that. If you live in a city limit, you can run for city council. If you don't run for city council, there are city commissions. They're like sub-levels under city council where you can run for one department or the other. You can do that, right? You can decide, okay, I want to go beyond that. I want to run for state rep. I want to run for state senate. Whatever it is, whatever shape or form it looks, just start somewhere. Just try and plug in if you desire to run for office. If you're like, no, I'm more back end, I'm more like, you know, in the shadows, I just want to keep doing the work. Yeah, then there are other ways you can do that too. Like we talked about policy advocacy. There are groups that have different topics that they are really passionate about, and that's all they do, right? The people that care about families, things of that nature. If that is your passion, find policy advocacy groups that you can partner with. During the session, we can actually show up and call our officials to the ropes, like they call them to the ropes, where they'll come out and talk to you. You can email them, you can call them. They work for us, you know? So you can call them and say, hey, this is what we as the people have decided, and this is what we want to see. Help us push for this policy, help us push for that law. But we need to start inserting ourselves into the process. If we don't do that, nothing is going to change, right? The real power is when our stories show up in laws, right? Every policy or legislation or law, it starts with somebody's story. It's somebody's story that forces you to say, hey, this happened, something must be done about it. And then you give it to your elected official who cares about it, and then pushes it all the way, and it becomes law. So let's not minimize our stories. Let's not think our stories don't matter. And don't let other people tell our stories for us either. If we let people shape our narratives, guess what? They don't know us. They're going to say it wrongly. And if they are saying our stories wrongly, guess what happens? Then they are making laws based on their assumed stories of us. Who's to blame? Because we are not participating, right? So let's be actively involved. Let's shape our own stories. Let's shape our own narratives that then impacts the outcomes of policies and decisions. But whatever the case is, let's just, get involved in putting ourselves out there.
Thank you so much, Buki. I know after this, everyone is sending an email to their HOA to get involved. And when school starts in August, we're going to be on boards, we're going to be on committees, because we're going to impact our children's education. Just a couple of examples that Buki mentioned. Rep. Shagun, the last question is for you. So how can African immigrants bridge global advocacy and local activism, for example, connecting human rights in Africa with housing justice in Atlanta?
Wow, that's a big question. All right, let me just start by saying first, I appreciate this platform because by bringing a target group, professionals and entrepreneurs, it tells me that a lot of people in this room have accomplished things and goals and opportunities that they seize. But I think what's also important too is to be included in the whole process of advocating. And I know we have busy lives and busy schedules, and we took the time out to be here, but we also have to make time for strategic lawmaking that impacts our lives. One thing that a lot of when I got into the House that blew my mind was really government is about business. Government is really about business. The laws that are being made. In fact, some of my colleagues, they're millionaires. I'm working on becoming one. They're millionaires because they understand by creating a law, they can create opportunities. And we have to think about what are those opportunities that we can plug into. So it's good to know when a bill passes or some opportunity. I mean, when you look around the state, one of the things, I sit on 3 committees: education, technology, innovation and infrastructure, and the creative arts and entertainment. And for me, it's very strategic because I want to get into more encouraging workforce development. But when you look across the state, one of the biggest investments that the governor made over the last, I would say, 5 years has really been attracting businesses in the EV battery technology space and also data centers. But who do you think is benefiting from that? Who are the contractors that are building these building these facilities? Who are the people in the housing industry? Because when you build, structures like that and you bring businesses like that, they need professionals, right? So those professionals, in most cases, might come from out of state. They need houses. They need all those services and facilities. So while they're building in a rural area, they're going to eat. So someone has to open up a fast food restaurant, something. All those are important. So being involved in that whole process is the key. But how do we also get involved? there are a couple of platforms in our community already that are doing that in this state. One I mentioned was the Nigerian American Public Affairs Committee. Um, it's very similar to other organizations like Asian Americans Advancing Justice, or you look at Galileo, which is for the Hispanic Latino community here. And what they do is they watch those laws and bills and how they impact their community. So by being a part of this platform, there's another one called the African Women PAC, right? Again, there are people like me and you that get involved in these organizations, and they really look at what are the things that are important to us from a policy perspective. So what we have to do is get involved in these platforms, even if it's an hour a month. Even if it's just learning how to vote, or the process is important. Let me digress to knowing the impact of participation. So Buki ran for office, and when one of the things our organization does, we look at okay, who in our community is running, and then we reach out to them. We reached out to her and said, hey, how can we support you? We gave her an audience. We have a platform called One Voice Africa and Caribbean Votes. And One Voice Africa has a number of 34 African countries that are participating. And we've also connected with a platform called Caribbean Votes. And we bring people to those platforms. We host people like her running for office or participating in the community. And we have conversations with them. What are they doing? And we volunteer and participate on those platforms. That is where the power is for us. That is how we build a presence. We had John Ossoff when he ran the first time. He came to our community because he knew that he could be impacted. And when he won, he thanked us. It went viral. And that's because we exercise our voice to vote. There are other organizations out there that we should also be involved in. NAACP. How many of you know that organization? If you don't know, you need to know. Because that organization has always fought for equity, not just for black people, but for all minorities. The principle of that organization is what we all imbibe. So if you're not a member of NAACP today, I don't care where you're from, join. Because that organization has been around a long time, and they have subject matter experts to address a lot of our issues. So let's when we leave this platform, I think we continue to promote opportunities as professional entrepreneurs, because the other part of it is how do you get access to resources? There are a lot of grants through the small business organization. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities that you don't see. But when you organize like this, you can reach out to those resources and say, hey, we're organized as African immigrant professionals. We want to get this grant, we'll get this opportunity. Then they pay attention. But if it's you as an individual, sometimes they will say, hey, this is laborious, there's no platform. And that's why unions in this country are so successful, because unions also, they organize. There's representation, there's participation. So I think if anything we leave with today, we should understand that we're here. This platform, I know everyone got the QR code and joined, but when we organize on a platform, we increase our opportunities.
Thank you so much, Representative. And I told a little fib, I have one more question. Buki, can you walk us through what mindset shift, excuse me, my brain is a little scrambled. What mindset shift must happen for African immigrants to move from observer to change maker? How can culturally rooted communities help spark that change?
Thanks, Cassandra. One thing came to my head as you were asking the question now, and I think I should have mentioned it earlier too. Some of us have this mentality of, it's not my business. I just want to hustle, make my money, feed my family, build my life, that's it. If we all keep saying it's not my business, who is going to do it? right? So first of all, it is our business. Some of us might say, well, my home country is my home. This place is just, what do we say? There's a way we say it in local language, like this, like where we are is just like a temporary, my real home is still over there. I'm going back. But you're making your life here. And you're paying taxes. And you're getting paid. And you're building your life, you're building your generation, you're building legacies here. So whether we like it or not, we have two homes, right? So first of all, it is our business. I think once we can take ownership of that fact, that's a mindset shift on its own, by itself, right? Just realizing that, look, we're here, and I'm here to stay, right? You can decide, okay, sometime later in my future, I don't know, I'll take my chances, I'll make other decisions. But as for now, if you're spending a greater percentage of your life here, raising a family, making a living, you need to be more involved. And remember, when we left our home countries, there's a reason why we left. Some of those reasons include structural inequities. Some things we were not fine with how things were shaping out. We're like, there has to be something better out there. And we came here. But we left the country. We changed countries. We changed area codes. But guess what? Similar problems. Where are we going to run away to again from here? Right? We can't keep running. We can't keep moving to the next and the next and the next and the next. Right? So how do we change where we are now? And the good thing is, at least here, there's still better odds of if I participate, I can see some outcome. There's still hope. Right? Just that hope by itself is a game changer for us. So I just want to implore us to, if you have that mindset of, I'm just going to do the bare minimum, just do for me and myself, no, let's not do that. Because if everybody is for just themselves, we're not going to be able to create legacies for future generations to come. It's people that came before us that did the work that we're enjoying now. And it's our turn to do the work as well. Let's do something now so that our kids and our generations after us can also benefit from the fruits of all the seeds we've sown, and we're going to keep sowing now. Now, I'm not going to deceive you that it's going to be easy. There will be wins, there will be losses, there will be disappointments along the way, but the main thing is persistence. We need to be very consistent. We need to be persistent, because even policies and laws, they only respond to persistence. If you're not persistent about a particular issue, you say one time and you're done, it wouldn't get any movement or traction. But if you keep showing up for the same thing over and over, sooner or later, it's bound to change. Something has to shift, right? So I just want to encourage us to, if you never thought of it from that mindset of, let me get engaged because, well, I don't really care, I'm just here doing the bare minimum. Let's do beyond that, right? And hopefully, we're going to bear the fruits of all that hard work and the labor of love. So let's just keep showing up. Let's keep caring. We need to care. Let's keep caring. Let's keep showing up. Let's bring people along with us as well. As we are doing the work, let's hold someone. Let's bring them along. And let's shift what's possible. Everything is possible if we can only unite together. Because I know a lot of us are doing some of these things in silos. But if we came together and become one big force, think of all the things we can accomplish together, right? So let's break those silos. Let's come together. Let's unite. And there'll be so much we can shift together that's possible. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you so much. Have you all been enriched by this panel? Because I know I have. Thank you both to Buki and Representative Adeyina. Thank you so much for the information that you shared and the resources. Before I pass it over to Representative for closing remarks, I do want to echo what I said earlier, that this panel is a precursor for our advocacy summit that will be held in October. You will be getting more information on that, but for you to get that information, you have to be part of our Circle community. So please go on to AIM's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, click the link tree, join the Circle community so that you can stay informed on events that we have, on programs that we have. And Buki mentioned earlier, we have expert series weekly and you can get involved on that front. And if you yourself are an expert, we would love for you to come and do a series to educate the community on whatever your practice area is. And at the summit, I'm looking forward to hearing all your testimonies on how you got involved, even on a micro level, in your communities to help effectuate and influence any changes that you'd like to see. So again, thank you so much, Representative, and thank you, Buki, for your time and information.
So this was really exciting for me, and I kind of wrote down a few things that I'd like to share. I'm honored to join everyone for this gathering. What I really like about this forum today highlights the vision and drive and unity of African immigrants. As an immigrant, we not only bring our skills and aspirations, but also a rich cultural heritage and a shared determination to succeed. The summit's theme, to learn, grow, and connect together, reflects the spirit that defines our journey and our purpose. By learning, we expand our horizons. By growing, we strengthen our impact. And by connecting, we build networks that empower and uplift everyone. Let this summit not just be a catalyst for new ideas, partnerships, and opportunities. I'm proud to stand with all of you as a public servant, a fellow immigrant, and a partner in building stronger, more inclusive future for us all. We're not just here for us today, we're also here for the future of our children and the next generation. So as we participate and have conversations, we need to communicate to others in our community. I know we had about 400, 500 people sign up to attend, and we're probably going to reach that number by this afternoon. But there are thousands of people in our community out there that are not here today. And the only way that they can hear about it is by you telling them about the African Immigrant Collective. So I thank you all for listening to us. If you want to reach out to me personally, I'm on social media, Shegun for Georgia. That's F-O-R Georgia. You can reach out to my office, shegun.adena@house.ga.gov. And if you see me before I leave, unfortunately, I do have to leave after this because I have 4 other engagements. But don't feel like your legislator or anyone that represents you at all levels is busy. We're always going to be busy. But if you bring things to our attention, we'll make you a priority. Because that's why we serve. You know, it's not like most African Caribbean countries. I don't have a special advisor. I don't have a PA. I don't have security. I came on my own. I don't have convoy. So I'm a true servant. This is not financially, you know, you don't make millions of dollars being a politician, but you serve the interest of your community. And to me, that's more than the millions of dollars. So I'll be running again next year. You know, I have to plug that in so that I have to plug that part in. But I like to thank the organizers for this event, because they're very persistent and deliberate that I had to be here. And I appreciate that, because I did have to be here. Because when we start this conversation, it's going to go viral. It's going to attract people to this platform. You know, the platform makes a difference. So I thank the organizers. You guys are, this is not a Nigerian platform. This is an African platform. And by the way, correction, you are African. You're always going to, Haitians, I mean, anyone that has the melanin like this, you're all Africans. It just was that, you know, we all came here at a different time. So let's grow the collective. Let's share the word, and let's be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
HOAs. I feel convicted. I need to join my HOA.
I mean,
I have been avoiding it. I have.
if the first panel can be like this, I can imagine what the other panels will be like.
Absolutely.
You know, please a round of applause one more time for
Yes.
everybody who was on that. Very insightful and a lot of lessons learned. But at the end of the day, what they've told us is get involved, right? Get involved. You need to get involved some way, somehow. Your voice should be part of the conversation. All right. Right about now, we want you to scan the QR code that will be showing on your screens, on the screen very, very soon. Just to scan this QR code to join the ecosystem, right? The African Immigrant Collective. And if you have questions, right, for this panel, for example, you have questions for this panel, you can put it down there. Just go there, join scan the QR code, and then join the AIM Collective by downloading the Circle app. There's something called the Circle app, and that Circle app, just by scanning the QR code, you're already there. And then you can just go to any panel session there and ask questions. You can drop your questions before or after.
Yes, absolutely. And once you scan the QR code, it's going to take you to like the landing page where you're going to see quite a few links. I believe it's like the third or fourth link down. So click that. And then it'll take you to join, sign up if you're not already signed up to the Circle group. And once you sign up, then you'll have the access to the summit where you can ask the panelists any questions as we have additional panelists coming forward.
And just to mention again, the Circle app is an initiative of the African Immigrant Collective, and which is an ecosystem for diversity, inclusion, and a lot of other things that has to do with African immigrants. So please, as much as possible, get the app on your phone, scan the QR code, and then please ask as many questions as you want to. Okay, right about now, I think it's time for our breakout rooms. We're going to go into breakout rooms, and Chi will be announcing the first set of rooms.
Absolutely. So the way these sessions are going to work, there's going to be 2 separate breakout sessions. We're going to have one breakout session that you'll be involved in, and then you'll transition into the next one. So if you have this pamphlet in your hand and you open it up to the middle page, you're going to see the list of all the breakout sessions that are available alongside the speakers that are going to be a part of it. And we're going to go ahead and read out all of the breakout sessions. So once we're done reading it out, we have a couple of volunteers in the room that'll help everyone pretty much get to every single one of those breakout rooms.
Yes, so once you see any of the volunteers, please just follow them because they will lead you to the rooms where you'll be having the breakout sessions.
All right, so the first, in breakout room 1, for the first breakout session, in breakout room 1, it'll be for the youth and early career track. The conference session is going to be focused on cracking the U.S. job market. In that room, we will have Dr. Isi Idemudia and Tofumi Arikwe. Unfortunately, Mr. Shukomi Agbomeji couldn't make it. His flight got delayed, so we'll just have Dr. Isi and Tofumi in those rooms. For breakout room 2, that's also for the youth and early career track. It is healthcare career pathways, pivot power, career reinvention. And in that room, we'll have Anita Adakwa in healthcare and Letitia Tokolo, who is a clinical mental health expert. In breakout room 3, this is the mid-senior professional track. We'll have, this conference session is focused on commanding presence, digital branding, and communications power moves. In there, we'll have the one and only, Mr. Sheung, and then we'll also have Dr. Alvin Glay and Mr. Samuel Busserath. In breakout room 4, we're gonna have it's the mid-senior professional track. The topic is leadership and advancement. We'll have Dr. Chichi Afia and Mr. James Oche. In breakout room 5, if you're on the entrepreneurship track, the conference session is going to be focused on starting smart, legal and financial foundations. In that room, we'll have Dr. Lily Mbiglo, we'll have Masichi Chukwemeka, and Attorney Uzo. Breakout room 6, that's also the entrepreneurship track, will be focused on digital tools and funding access for scalable growth. we'll have Kenneth Kweku Bota and Nnamdi Nwigwe.
Now, as we transition to the second session, we will have in breakout room 1 the youth and early career track, which will be about mastering workplace culture from first job to first promotion, salary negotiation, and workplace power moves. I'm sure a lot of people want to be there. That will be with Nnamdi Nwigwe and Dayo Famakinwa. We also have in breakout room 2, youth and early career track, resilience and mental wellness for immigrants. Letitia Tokplo and Dr. Alvin Glay. In breakout room 3, we have for mid-senior professional, if you're on the mid-senior professional track, we have tech career pathways and pivot power, which is also about career in reinvention. We have Ife Adeni, Dr. Chichi Afia, Lola Adeyemo, and Dr. Fortune Onzurike. Yeah. And also in breakout room 4, we have for the mid-senior professional track, immigration and employment law. We have Attorney Uzo, we have Cassandra Childs, and Valerie Mills. I'm not sure she's around yet, but I guess she'll join us. We also have in breakout room 5, entrepreneurship track. We have business scaling and systems. We have Sayu Abend and Randy Hooker. And the final breakout room for the second session is breakout room 6, which is for the entrepreneurship track, which is all about wealth building and real estate. Patrick Bakatu Kanda and Carolina Ngo. All right.
All right, so we have a fun-filled time in the breakout session. Please remember, after your first breakout session, go ahead and transition to your next breakout session. Oh, yes. So, what time is it right now? Okay, so the first breakout session will start immediately, and that will last till about 11:20. So about 11:10, 11:20, so they are 50 minutes each. Of course, I'm sorry? 12:20. That's what I meant. I can read, I promise y'all. Yes, till 12:20. Thank you so much for that correction. Of course, like, take a second. Actually, we'll start it at 11:30 so we can get a bathroom break in there. So from 11:30 to 12:20, that will be the first breakout session. And then the second session will be from 12:20 to 1:10, and then right after that, we'll grab some lunch. All right. So we have 2 volunteers. If you can raise your hands, whoever our volunteers are.
Yes.
Perfect. We have 3.
So
awesome.
we have 3
Yes.
volunteers there. Please, as much as possible, if you need to locate the rooms, just get up and please locate the...
Yeah, so we're actually going to do, oh, sorry, can we, 1 second. We're actually going to do it in sequence. We're going to do it in sequence, I believe. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're actually going to start off by, if you're interested in breakout room 1 and breakout room 2, can we have our first volunteer raise their hand, whoever that may be? Okay, there's a gentleman right back there in the black t-shirt. He has his hands up. He'll be taking you. The breakout rooms are actually on the 3rd floor. If you need to use the restroom or anything, please feel free to do so, and another volunteer will take you up there. So if you're interested in breakout 1 and breakout room 2, that gentleman will take you. If you're interested in breakout room 3 or 4, please raise your, okay, so the gentleman that is on the right side of the door will take you to breakout room 3 or breakout room 4. So breakout room 1 and 2 is the gentleman on the left who has his hand up right now. All right, and if you're on 3 and 4, it's the gentleman who has his hand up. And then 5 and 6, we need 1 more volunteer to raise their hand for 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
will be the lady in the white shirt for breakout room 5 and 6. Yes. All right, looking forward to seeing you guys back here for lunch.
All right. Please do not also forget we have vendors out there. We have some things that you want to buy. If you want to buy anything, please feel free to also visit the vendor stands as well. Thank you.
Eleanor.
I think the biggest challenge immigrants face is the first set of people you meet when you come to America. They can make or mar you.
I think one of the challenges that I faced when I came in was just not being able to understand where do I fit in.
No information, no village. It was just me and Google.
There was no strong community where you can just get all the knowledge and get that guidance or the path to what you really want to do.
The network that I did have, though small, did help, but I think a bigger network of more diverse people would have been a lot more helpful in directing my path.
Literally, there wasn't even any template for what I was trying to do.
If I had a community of like-minded professionals, I would have definitely been far ahead in my journey.
It would have taken away a lot of the fear that existed within me.
Instead of me using out of my 11 years of being in America, wasting 5 years doing all those jobs and not believing in myself.
When I think of the African Immigrant Collective, what stands out to me is immigrants coming together to do big things.
I do like the idea of having something that's ours so that we can make ours, we can contribute, and also receive from.
Community. There's no way you can shoot out beyond the strength of the community that you're a part of.
But what stands out to me is the fact that now we're coming together to, be successful collectively.
When 2-3 people are together, we can move mountains.
I'm able to pour into someone or share my experience in that way, helping them guide or hold their hands to give them the experience and the guidance that they might need to be able to get to the level that they want.
I don't want you to go through what I went through. I don't want you to be a cleaner when you're
Hi, my name is Nnamdi Hanacho and I am the founder of the African Immigrant Collective. AIM is a short form for African Immigrant Movement, but the African Immigrant Collective.
3 easy steps to join the AIM Collective Circle community. Scan a QR code or visit the link below. It only takes one tap. Fill out a short form. Tell us a bit about yourself so we can connect you with the right opportunities. Welcome to the AIM Collective Circle, where professionals connect, grow, and thrive. Get ready for exclusive access to our free weekly expert series, inspiring events, and a powerful community that's here to support your journey.
Hi, my name is Nnamdi Hanacho and I am the founder of the African Immigrant Collective. AIM is a short form for African Immigrant Movement, but the African Immigrant Collective is an initiative that was born to really create an ecosystem for African immigrants so we can thrive professionally. In that way, no one has to start from scratch. The whole idea behind AIM is to create a community where we can support ourselves to economic success here in the United States. The African Immigrant Collective is a family. We welcome everyone, whether you are an African immigrant or African diaspora, first generation, or just connected, or you just love who we are and you want to be a part of what we do. We welcome everyone. You can get plugged in. There's so many opportunities. You can volunteer with us, help us plan some of our awesome events. We have our weekly expert series where we, leverage professionals within the community to equip other people who are aspiring to where they are. So you can become an expert facilitator, you can become an official, you can become a member of the board by making some contributions, you can make donations, you can just show up for our programs, and you can just tell people about AIM, who we are, what we do. But yeah, there's so many ways to get involved.
Three easy steps to join the AIM Collective Circle community. Scan a QR code or visit the link below. It only takes one tap. Fill out a short form. Tell us a bit about yourself so we can connect you with the right opportunities. Welcome to the AIM Collective Circle, where professionals connect, grow, and thrive. Get ready for exclusive access to our free weekly expert series, inspiring events, and a powerful community that's here to support your journey. The African Immigrant Professional and Entrepreneurship Summit. We don't just gather, we celebrate vision, innovation, and community. And none of this would be possible without the incredible support of our vendors and partners. Let's show them some love. Shout out to PayAngel, making global smart money transfers easy and secure. Sending love across borders has never been simpler. To Julie Green, Financial Service Representative at MassMutual, thank you for empowering our community with smart financial planning and trust. Gratitude to Superabundance Financial, powered by our collective impact partner Caroline & Go, licensed financial pro and real estate expert, guiding families to abundance. To our friends at Pathway Elevate, helping professionals and founders build winning self-petition immigration cases, visit pathwayelevate.com and turn your U.S. dreams into reality. A standing ovation to House of Ione for bringing culture and elegance to life with every piece of African attire. To ANG Marketing Consulting, led by Dr. Alvin Gray, author, speaker, and marketing strategist. For branding brilliance, visit dralvingry.com. Much love to Peace of God Ministries for anchoring our community in faith, purpose, and peace. A special thank you to Agramachi Farms, cultivating impact through agriculture, food production, and food processing that nourish both body and future. A big shout out to Femin Closet, your one-stop shop for cherished female fashion, jewelry, dresses, laces, prints, bags, shoes, wigs, and more. Glowing thanks to Velux Beauty, offering stunning jewelry and wigs that make you shine inside and out. Confidence, crowned. Shout out to ASAK Beauty World, the house of henna and braids, where beauty meets tradition. Your crown, your culture, your confidence. A huge shout out to PlanNet Marketing, founded by Don Bradley, empowering people to turn their passion for travel into profit. In partnership with IntelliTravel, they're helping everyday dreamers become travel entrepreneurs, one booking at a time. To all our vendors, your presence matters. Your support fuels dreams, builds bridges, and feeds a movement from the heart of the AIM Collective. We thank you. Together, we rise. Together, we aim higher.
please feel free to talk to anybody that you find wearing the African Immigrant Collective shirt. We have a lady at the back there who's just raising her hand. So if you need any help, we're here to help you as well.
Okay, awesome. All right.
All right.
Okay, so with that, we will call up the COO of AIM.
Especially when surviving.
Life, there's still
regard, but
what's really important is make prosthetics. Unfortunately, some years later, when he was 16, he was involved in the burglary.
ngifuna ukuhlala nawe, ngifuna ukuhlala nawe, uyingozi wena, ngoba mina ngikhethile, ngifuna ukuhlala nawe, ngifuna ukuhlala nawe.